Thank you for waiting. Yeah, here, my journey of building a Figma widget with Notion API. I'm Evan Lee. Hello, everyone. I'm not good at presentations, just here. I'm Evan, a software engineer. I have a deep interest in productivity, and I really enjoy helping others through the programs I create. I just came to Toronto about 2 months ago, and to broaden my horizon through the new experiences. I worked as front-end engineer in Korea for 2 years. During that time, I create a small but proud solution to a document fragmentation problem I encountered while developing. And in this lightning talk, I'll give you a brief overview of my development journey. In my team, we use Notion to keep track of product acceptance criteria, specifications, various policies, and knowledge. When designing and developing products, we use Figma. It's really helpful to have all the design screens and related policies, specifications, and knowledge side by side in Figma design while developing. This works well until time passes. As time passes, product specifications evolves. Memos attached and knowledge gets updated or removed. Any change requires updates in both platforms because these changes are stored separately in Figma and Notion. So, however, during fast-paced development, it's tough to keep everything updated, which is leading to synchronization issues between the two platforms. So to solve this, I thought of creating a tool using Figma plugins and widgets, along with the Notion API. This tool would render Notion's content right next to the Figma designs and keep them synchronized. So, what is Figma Widget? Figma widgets are interactive tools available in Figma's design files and Fiction. They're brainstorming platform. These widgets boost productivity by integrating dynamic content, such as timers, charts, and interactive polls into the design process. So, to clarify, what I wanted to create was something like this. Like the image above, I wanted all separate pieces of information in the Figma design file to look towards a single source of truth, which is in the Notion. I thought two main use cases for this flow. I'll explain simply. When you click the Show Pop-up button on the widget, a pop-up appears where you can enter the Notion token and the URL of the Notion block. After you submit it, the widget uses the Notion API to fetch the block information and renders it in the form of Figma widget. Another use case is refreshing it by clicking the refresh button. The widget updates and re-renders with the latest information from that block. Since the solution I wanted wasn't available in the Figma community, I decided to create it myself. I didn't want to spend too much time studying the official Figma documentation to understand every principle. So fortunately, Figma provides sample projects which I used to start building the widget. This is the So like this, this is my widget created based on the sample project I mentioned. With widget UI in the Figma canvas and its pop-up where you put form. So I needed to call the Notion API from the widget code, but there was a problem. When you try to call the Notion API from a browser, you encounter CORS issues, cross-origin resource sharing. This happens because the browser's origin is not included in the list of origins loaded by the Notion API server. As you can see from this issue, Figma is browser-based software. To solve this, I built my own server. But what is the origin when you fetch from a Figma plugin or widget? As you can check in the developer tool documentation of Figma, it was null. Figma recommends calling APIs only if access control allow origin header value is set to asterisk, which means allowing all origins. Therefore, I quickly resolved this issue by building my own server using the tech stack, Node, and Express I was most familiar with. So let me explain the series of request and response between widget and servers. As you can see on the screen, the widget sends a request to the server I create, and my server fetches log information from the Notion API, process it, and responds. It recursively requests sublogs to compile comprehensive data, and rather than returning all block types, it filters and returns only that are supported by the widget, which means they're highest priority block types. The widget then stores its data in its own state and uses a function I create called renderChildren to recursively call and render this data. I'd like to show some code, but the server code is relatively simple, so I'll skip that. Let's talk a brief look at the widget code. So this is the renderChildren, simplified depiction. The syntax for rendering Figma components uses JSX, like React. The renderChildren function takes block data as an argument. It renders components based on their type. And if there are children, it recursively calls the renderChildren function. And this is the code, one of block types of Notion, numbered list item block. Yeah, that I implemented. I create the UI I wanted by combining basic components provided by the Figma Widget API. After many trials and errors, I was able to render Figma components similarly to Notion using Notion's block data. So this is the demo of the use case for the widget I created. You bring the widget in, open a pop-up, and input the block's URL based on the code I've written. UI similar to Notion is then rendered in Figma. While it's generally similar to the React API, there are subtle differences that you always needed to be careful about when developing. Especially there were some issues like this, text rendering. Let's suppose we have a basic text block in Notion. In Notion, you can style text in various ways, including setting background colors for text block and for specific pieces of text within the block. And for such text blocks, the response from the Notion API would look something like this: a paragraph type on array of rich text. As shown below, whenever there is styling element in the middle of text, it is treated as a separate rich text. So each rich text in the array contains a piece of text and its corresponding style information, such as annotation. The issue started with the background color styling of these text pieces. So to apply Notion styling directly in Figma, I combined various Figma components. In my text array, I wrapped the text in Figma's auto layout component to cope with text with the background. In other words, I was rendering auto layout components inside another auto layout component. So, however, the rendering of FigNotion widget turned out awkwardly. Text background colors followed immediately by line breaks worked, but the result looked odd. And long text did not automatically wrap, but were cut off. So why this awkward rendering happened? This happens because the Figma auto layout component, which I use to wrap the text component for background colors, does not support automatic line wrapping for text wrap with auto layout. In a situation where the auto layout component is dynamically rendered, FigNotion widget itself had a fixed width. I was unable to pass the proper width to the auto layout because I didn't know what the proper width is. So it was too much to handle, and in the unfamiliar Figma Widget API environment. I was not even sure if it was possible to handle it. So to solve this problem, I started wrapping the rich text array in text and span components instead of auto layout. However, this meant giving up the text background colors. I made this trade-off because when I discussed this issue with my users of FigNotion, such as UX, UI designers in the company using Figma, they indicated that having properly functioning line mapping was more impactful and valuable than just text background color. So this is the widget as it was rendered as a result. You can see that all styling except for the text background color is working well. And this is a demo currently developed FigNotion widget. Pass the link, run it, and watch the page render and modify the Notion document. And refresh the widget. It is reflected. So, and another feature, I wanted to implement automatic sync for FigNotion to ease manual updates, but faced challenges due to Figma's limitation. Continuous timers were disruptive because of continuous message, and multiple widgets couldn't run simultaneously in a single Figma file. As a solution, I create a simple refresh button for all widgets. So this is the demo of sync all button. Clicking the button on the widget will reload all FigNotion widgets in the file. So, conclusion. Let's talk about what I've learned with FigNotion and what I plan to improve next. FigNotion was officially currently released in the Figma community and has since been downloaded over 1,000 times. Several companies in Korea are currently using it. And then the Slack community has been created. There is still room for improvement, particularly in usability and security. Currently, users have to manually enter a secret token to connect their Figma to Notion. I plan to enhance this by implementing OAuth soon. And finally, I'd like to share what I've learned through this journey. First, I gained knowledge about how the Figma and Notion interface works. More importantly, I've experienced a valuable product development process. I identified problems in my environment, and I took the initiative to define these problems. I wrote code and struggled through the development, and I shared my program with people, and I received user feedback and applied that feedback to improve the product. This series of experiences were incredibly meaningful to me, and I think I'll be chasing experiences like this for this rest of my life. So this is the end of my presentation, and I would like to thank everyone for listening. Thank you.